Every morning you wake up, life asks you one question. Are you serious this time? Not yesterday, not last year, not the version of you that kept talking about dreams while making excuses. I'm talking about today. Because somewhere right now, somebody with less talent than you is winning simply because they refuse to quit. You keep waiting for motivation. You keep waiting for the perfect moment. You keep waiting for confidence. But confidence is built after you move. Strength is built after you struggle. Success is built after you decide there will be no more excuses. This is your wake-up call. This is your year. And if you truly want 2026 to change your life, then stop asking life for easier conditions and start becoming a stronger person. Every single day, people wake up with dreams in their hearts, but excuses on their lips. They say they want success. They say they want change. They say they want a better future. But when the moment comes to take action, excuses suddenly become more powerful than ambition. Some blame their past. Some blame their age. Some blame money, timing, fear, rejection, or lack of support. And while those struggles may be real, the truth is that excuses have never built a successful life. Excuses may comfort you temporarily, but they also quietly destroy your potential. They keep you trapped in the same cycle year after year. The hardest thing to accept is that nobody is coming to rescue you. Nobody is going to wake up every morning and force you to become disciplined, focused, or successful. At some point, you must make a decision to stop explaining why your life is not changing and start doing the work required to change it. Responsibility is difficult because it forces you to look in the mirror and confront the habits, fears, and choices that are holding you back. But the moment you stop blaming everything around you and start taking ownership of your future, your life begins to shift in a powerful way. Most people waste years waiting for perfect conditions before they start moving toward their goals. They tell themselves they will work harder when life becomes easier, when they feel more confident, when they have more money, or when the timing feels right. But successful people understand something important. There will never be a perfect moment. Life will always be challenging. There will always be distractions, pressure, setbacks, and obstacles trying to slow you down. If you wait for everything to become easy, you will wait forever. Growth begins when excuses end. The people who transform their lives are usually not the people with the easiest circumstances. They are the people who decide to move forward despite difficult circumstances. They understand that progress is built through imperfect action. Even small steps matter when they are repeated consistently. Every day you delay your goals because of excuses, you are giving away valuable time that you can never recover. Time is one of the few things in life that cannot be replaced. Once a day is gone, it is gone forever. That is why responsibility matters so much. It forces you to stop wasting energy complaining and start using your energy to build something meaningful. One of the biggest lies excuses tell you is that your situation is permanent. Excuses make people believe they are stuck forever. They convince people that failure defines them and that struggle means they should quit. But history is filled with people who started with nothing and still created extraordinary lives because they refused to surrender to excuses. They faced rejection, criticism, financial problems, fear, and disappointment, but they kept moving forward. Why? Because they understood that your starting point does not determine your ending point. Your mindset and your decisions do. Every successful person has faced moments where quitting felt easier than continuing. The difference is that they chose responsibility over comfort. They stopped asking, why is this happening to me? And started asking, what can I do about it? That question changes everything. The moment you focus on solutions instead of excuses, you regain control over your life. Your power returns when you stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances and start seeing yourself as the creator of your future. Taking responsibility also means being honest about your habits. Many people dream about success while maintaining routines that lead to failure. They waste hours scrolling through distractions, avoiding hard work, procrastinating, and repeating behaviors that keep them average. Then they wonder why nothing changes. Success is not built from occasional motivation. It is built from daily discipline. The small choices you make every day are shaping your future, whether you realize it or not. The way you spend your mornings, the way you manage your time, the way you react to challenges, and the way you speak to yourself all matter. Responsibility means understanding that your habits either build your dreams or destroy them. Nobody can fix your mindset for you. Nobody can exercise for you, study for you, work for you, or heal for you. The responsibility belongs to you. And while that may sound heavy, it is actually empowering because it means your future is still in your hands. You are not powerless. You have the ability to change direction at any moment by changing your actions consistently over time. Another reason excuses are dangerous is because they often sound reasonable. Fear sounds reasonable. Doubt sounds reasonable. Waiting sounds reasonable. But many people stay trapped for years because they keep listening to those comfortable excuses instead of confronting uncomfortable truths. Growth requires discomfort. Improvement requires sacrifice. You cannot become stronger while constantly avoiding challenges. Every level of success demands a different version of you. The person you are today cannot achieve the future you dream about without growth, discipline, and accountability. That is why responsibility is so powerful. It forces you to rise beyond your emotions. Some days you will feel motivated, and other days you will feel exhausted. Responsible people continue anyway. They understand that feelings are temporary, but consequences are lasting. Every excuse you make today creates regret tomorrow. Every action you take today creates progress tomorrow. Your future is being shaped right now by the standards you choose to live by. And if you continue allowing excuses to control your decisions, you will eventually wake up frustrated by a life you had the power to change. The truth is that responsibility is not about becoming perfect overnight. It is about making a decision to stop running from your potential. It is about waking up each morning with the mindset that no matter what challenges appear, you will continue moving forward. Some days your progress will be slow. Some days you will fail. Some days you will doubt yourself. But responsible people do not allow temporary setbacks to become permanent excuses. They learn, adjust, and keep going. They understand that greatness is not built in one dramatic moment. It is built through consistent effort over time. Every disciplined morning, every focused hour, every difficult choice, and every moment of persistence is shaping the person you are becoming. The life you want is not going to appear magically. It must be earned through action, sacrifice, and responsibility. The moment you stop making excuses is the moment your transformation truly begins. Motivation is powerful, but motivation is temporary. Some mornings you wake up feeling inspired, energized, and ready to conquer the world. You feel confident about your goals, excited about your future, and determined to change your life. But eventually there will come a day when the excitement disappears. There will be mornings when you feel tired, discouraged, frustrated, and emotionally drained. On those days, motivation will not save you. That is where discipline becomes the difference between people who dream and people who achieve. Discipline is the ability to keep moving even when your emotions are telling you to stop. It is the decision to stay committed long after the excitement fades away. Most people depend too heavily on motivation, which is why they constantly start and stop. They feel inspired for a few days, then disappear when things become difficult. But success does not belong to people who work only when they feel good. Success belongs to people who show up consistently, especially on the days when they do not feel like it. The truth is that discipline creates freedom. At first, discipline feels difficult because it requires sacrifice. It requires waking up early, staying focused, controlling distractions, and doing things that are uncomfortable. But over time, discipline builds strength, confidence, and momentum. The disciplined person gains freedom from regret freedom from laziness, freedom from constant excuses, and freedom from wasted potential. People often think discipline is punishment, but in reality, lack of discipline creates the greatest pain. A lack of discipline leads to missed opportunities, broken promises, financial stress, poor health, and disappointment. Every area of life improves when discipline becomes part of your daily routine. Your mind becomes sharper. Your confidence becomes stronger. Your goals become clearer. Discipline trains you to stop depending on temporary emotions and start depending on consistent habits. And once discipline becomes your lifestyle, your entire future begins to change because you are no longer controlled by moods, fear, or comfort. One of the greatest misconceptions people have is believing that successful individuals are always motivated. They imagine successful people waking up every morning excited and ready to work. But the reality is very different. High achievers often feel tired, stressed, and uncertain just like everyone else. The difference is that they have trained themselves to act regardless of how they feel. They understand that feelings are unreliable, but habits are powerful. Discipline means doing the work whether you are inspired or not. It means studying when you are tired, training when you are uncomfortable, practicing when nobody is watching, and staying focused while others are distracted. That is what separates average people from extraordinary people. The average person waits for motivation before taking action. The disciplined person takes action first and allows momentum to create motivation later. Over time, those small acts of discipline compound into massive results. A single workout may not transform your body, and a single day of hard work may not transform your career, but repeated consistently over months and years, those actions completely transform your life. Discipline also teaches you the importance of consistency. Many people fail because they are obsessed with quick results. They want success immediately, and when progress feels slow, they become frustrated and quit. But real growth is often invisible in the beginning. Discipline requires patience. It requires trusting the process, even when you cannot yet see the reward. Think about how powerful daily habits become over time. Reading a few pages every day can eventually change the way you think. Exercising consistently can completely transform your body and energy. Saving small amounts of money regularly can create financial stability. Improving yourself little by little every day may seem insignificant in the moment, but over time it creates extraordinary change. The problem is that most people underestimate the power of small, disciplined actions because they focus too much on instant gratification. Discipline teaches you to value long-term growth over temporary comfort. It teaches you to stay committed long enough for your hard work to produce results. Another reason discipline is so important is because life will constantly test your commitment. There will always be distractions competing for your attention. Social media, entertainment, negativity, comfort, and procrastination are everywhere. It has never been easier to waste entire days doing things that do not improve your future. That is why disciplined people stand out. They protect their time carefully because they understand that time is one of the most valuable things they possess. Every hour wasted is an hour that can never be recovered. Discipline helps you stay focused in a world full of distractions. It helps you say no to things that weaken your future and yes to things that strengthen it. This is not easy. There will be moments when giving up feels tempting. There will be moments when nobody notices your effort, supports your journey, or understands your sacrifices. But discipline is not about receiving immediate praise. It is about becoming the kind of person who keeps promises to themselves. Every time you stay disciplined, you build self-respect. And self-respect creates confidence that cannot be faked. The most powerful thing about discipline is that it changes your identity. At first, discipline feels like something you force yourself to do, but eventually it becomes part of who you are. You stop negotiating with excuses. You stop depending on perfect conditions. You stop waiting for someone to push you. Instead, you develop an inner standard that drives your actions. You become someone who finishes what they start, someone who remains focused under pressure, someone who continues growing even when progress feels slow. That transformation changes everything because success is not only about achieving goals, it is about becoming stronger in the process. Discipline teaches resilience, patience, focus, and mental toughness. Those qualities affect every area of your life. The people who build extraordinary futures are rarely the people with the most talent. They are usually the people with the strongest discipline. Talent may give someone an advantage, but discipline determines who lasts. When motivation disappears, discipline remains. And if you can master discipline, you can achieve things most people only talk about. Whether you realize it or not, your environment is influencing you every single day. The people you spend time with, the conversations you listen to, the habits surrounding your life, the content you consume, and the energy around you are all shaping the person you are becoming. Many people want success, confidence, discipline, and growth, but they continue surrounding themselves with negativity, distraction, laziness, and small thinking. Then they wonder why they feel stuck. The truth is that no one rises far beyond the environment they constantly live in. If you spend your time around people who complain every day, eventually complaining will feel normal. If you stay around people who avoid responsibility, waste time, and make excuses, those habits slowly become part of your own behavior. Your environment silently trains your mindset. It either pushes you toward growth or pulls you toward mediocrity. That is why protecting your environment is one of the most important decisions you will ever make. Your future is deeply connected to what surrounds you every day. One of the biggest mistakes people make is underestimating the power of influence. Human beings naturally absorb the attitudes, beliefs, and habits of the people around them. If your environment constantly feeds you fear, doubt, negativity, and hopelessness, it becomes difficult to believe in your own potential. On the other hand, when you surround yourself with people who are disciplined, focused, ambitious, and positive, your standards begin to rise. You start thinking bigger. You start believing more is possible for your life. Energy is contagious. Mindsets spread, habits spread, confidence spreads. That is why successful people are extremely careful about who they allow into their inner circle. They understand that the wrong environment can destroy years of growth. Some people are constantly draining your energy, distracting your focus, and weakening your mindset without you even noticing it. Not everyone deserves access to your dreams, your time, or your mental space. Sometimes growth requires creating distance from environments that keep you trapped in old patterns. Your physical environment also matters more than most people realize. The space you live in can either support your focus or destroy it. If your life is filled with constant distractions, noise, clutter, and unhealthy routines, it becomes difficult to stay disciplined and productive. Successful people intentionally create environments that support their goals. They organize their time, protect their routines, and remove unnecessary distractions because they understand that focus is one of the greatest advantages in modern life. Every day, millions of people lose hours scrolling through social media, comparing themselves to others, and consuming content that adds no value to their future. Slowly, those distractions steal ambition, confidence, and mental clarity. Your mind becomes what you repeatedly feed it. If you constantly feed your mind negativity, gossip, fear, and entertainment without purpose, your thinking becomes weaker. But when you feed your mind knowledge, discipline, inspiration, and learning, your mindset becomes stronger. Your environment is not only physical, it is also mental. What you listen to, watch, read, and focus on every day is shaping your future identity. Another important truth is that growth often requires leaving familiar environments behind. Many people stay stuck because they are afraid to outgrow old habits, old friendships, or old ways of thinking. They stay connected to environments that no longer match the future they want to create. But growth and comfort rarely exist together. Sometimes the people around you will not understand your ambition. They may criticize your discipline, laugh at your goals, or question your vision because your growth makes them uncomfortable. Not everyone will support your transformation. That is why you must become strong enough to protect your mindset even when others doubt you. Every successful person eventually reaches a moment where they must choose between staying comfortable or growing into someone greater. That choice is difficult because familiar environments feel safe even when they are limiting your potential. But if you continue staying in places that weaken your spirit, your dreams will slowly fade away. You cannot expect a powerful future while remaining trapped in environments that encourage weakness and fear. At the same time, building a positive environment does not mean your life must become perfect. Challenges, stress, and difficult people will always exist. The goal is not to escape reality, but to become intentional about what influences you daily. Seek environments that challenge you to improve. Spend time with people who inspire discipline, growth, and accountability. Listen to voices that strengthen your mindset instead of destroying it. Read books that expand your thinking. Create routines that support your physical and mental health. Small environmental changes create powerful long-term results. Even one positive habit repeated consistently can begin shifting the direction of your entire life. The environment you create today becomes the foundation of the future you build tomorrow. That is why intentional living matters so much. If you do not control your environment will eventually control you. And once negativity becomes normal, progress becomes difficult. The most powerful environments are the ones that remind you of your purpose every day. When your surroundings support growth, discipline becomes easier. Focus becomes stronger. Confidence becomes more natural. You stop feeling like you are constantly fighting against yourself. Instead, your environment begins working with you instead of against you. This is why many successful people protect their mornings, their routines, and their mental energy so carefully. They understand that your future is built through daily exposure to the right habits, the right influences, and the right mindset. Your environment can either drain your ambition or awaken your greatness. It can either convince you to settle or challenge you to rise higher. Every single day, your surroundings are shaping your standards, your decisions, and your identity. If you truly want your life to change in 2026, then stop only focusing on changing your goals and start changing your environment. Because when your environment improves, your thinking improves. When your thinking improves, your actions improve. And when your actions improve consistently, your entire life begins to transform. Every person alive will experience pain. No one escapes struggle, disappointment, heartbreak, failure, rejection, or loss. Pain is not something reserved for weak people or unlucky people. It is part of being human. Yet the reason some people grow stronger through difficult times while others become trapped by them is because pain affects people differently depending on their mindset. Some people allow pain to destroy their confidence, their dreams, and their future. Others use pain as fuel. They allow struggle to sharpen them, strengthen them, and prepare them for greater things. The truth is that pain itself is not your enemy. Often, pain is life's greatest teacher. The hardest moments in your life can either become excuses that keep you stuck forever or lessons that transform you into someone stronger than you ever imagined. The choice is not always easy, but it is always powerful. Many people spend years trying to avoid discomfort because they believe comfort equals happiness. But growth rarely happens in comfort. Strength is developed under pressure. Character is revealed during adversity. Some of the greatest transformations happen during the darkest seasons of life. When life becomes difficult, most people immediately ask, "Why is this happening to me?" That question usually leads to frustration, bitterness, and hopelessness. But stronger people ask a different question. They ask, "What is this teaching me?" That shift in perspective changes everything. Every challenge carries a lesson if you are willing to learn from it. Failure can teach humility. Rejection can teach resilience. Loneliness can teach self-reliance. Financial struggle can teach discipline and creativity. Pain has a way of exposing weaknesses that comfort hides. Difficult moments force you to grow beyond your current mindset. They reveal who you truly are when everything feels uncertain. Many people discover their deepest strength only after life pushes them to their limits. Before the struggle, they never realized how resilient they could become. That is why pain should never automatically be viewed as punishment. Sometimes life is preparing you for responsibilities, opportunities, and levels of growth that your current version is not yet ready to handle. Pain often becomes the training ground for future greatness. One of the most dangerous things people can do is allow pain to turn into bitterness. When someone experiences repeated disappointment, it becomes easy to lose hope and stop believing in themselves. They begin expecting failure before they even try. They start building emotional walls around themselves because they fear being hurt again. Slowly, pain transforms into negativity, fear, anger, and self-doubt. But carrying bitterness only extends suffering. Pain is temporary, but bitterness can become permanent if you hold on to it too long. Strong people understand that while they cannot always control what happens to them, they can control how they respond. They refuse to let difficult experiences define their identity forever. Instead of becoming prisoners of their past, they become students of it. They learn, adapt, heal, and continue moving forward. Healing does not mean pretending pain never existed. It means refusing to allow pain to destroy your future. Some of the strongest people in the world are people who continued loving, believing, and striving despite everything they endured. Pain also reveals the difference between interest and commitment. When life is easy, everyone says they are dedicated to their goals. But true commitment is revealed during hard seasons. It is easy to stay focused when results are coming quickly. It is easy to remain confident when people are supporting you. But what about when progress is slow? What about when nobody believes in you? What about when you fail repeatedly and nothing seems to be working? That is where mental toughness is built. The people who eventually succeed are often the people who simply refuse to stop during painful seasons. They kept working while discouraged. They kept believing while uncertain. They kept growing while struggling. Pain tested them, but it also strengthened them. Every difficult moment they survived added another layer of resilience to their character. That resilience later became one of their greatest advantages because life will always challenge people who pursue greatness. If you break every time life becomes uncomfortable, you will never discover how powerful you truly are. Another important truth is that pain often forces people to discover a deeper purpose within themselves. Comfort can make people lazy, distracted, and complacent, but pain has a way of waking people up. It forces reflection, it forces growth, it forces change. Some people only begin taking life seriously after experiencing failure, heartbreak, loss, or struggle. Those painful moments become turning points that completely transform the direction of their lives. Many successful people can look back at the hardest seasons they endured and realize those moments shaped them more than their easy seasons ever did. Pain teaches empathy, patience, gratitude, and perspective. It reminds you not to take opportunities, relationships, or time for granted. The struggles you survive today may eventually become the reason you inspire others tomorrow. Often, the wounds you heal become the wisdom you share. That is why you should never underestimate what your difficult season might be preparing you for. Some storms arrive not to destroy you, but to clear the path for the person you are meant to become. The reality is that life will continue testing you. There will always be moments where giving up feels easier than continuing. There will be days where exhaustion, disappointment, and fear try to convince you that your efforts are pointless. But pain does not last forever. Difficult seasons eventually pass. What matters is who you become while moving through them. Every challenge you overcome builds inner strength that cannot be taken away from you. Every obstacle you survive increases your resilience. Every painful experience contains an opportunity for growth if you refuse to surrender to hopelessness. The strongest individuals are not people who lived easy lives. They are people who continued moving forward despite pain. They turned struggle into wisdom, failure into growth, and hardship into strength. Pain can either break you or build you, but the final decision belongs to you. You can allow suffering to make you weaker, or you can allow it to transform you into someone wiser, stronger, and more unstoppable than before. Everybody wants success, but very few people truly understand the price that success demands. People admire confidence, achievement, wealth, discipline, and greatness, but they often ignore the sacrifices hidden behind those results. They see the victory, but not the years of struggle. They see the reward, but not the sleepless nights, the lonely seasons, the failures, and the relentless effort that came before it. Success is never handed out freely. Every meaningful goal requires giving up something in exchange for something greater. The problem is that many people want extraordinary results while remaining attached to ordinary habits. They want growth without discomfort. They want success without discipline. They want transformation without sacrifice. But life does not work that way. Every level of success demands a different version of you. The person you are today cannot reach your highest potential while staying committed to comfort, distraction, laziness, and excuses. At some point, you must decide what matters more: temporary comfort or long-term greatness. Because if you are unwilling to sacrifice for your dreams, eventually your dreams become the sacrifice. One of the hardest sacrifices people must make is sacrificing immediate pleasure for long-term growth. Modern life constantly encourages distraction and instant gratification. People are surrounded by entertainment, social media, comfort, and endless opportunities to waste time. It has become easy to spend entire days consuming instead of creating, watching instead of building, and talking instead of working. But successful people understand something powerful. Every moment spent on unnecessary distractions is time taken away from their future. That is why disciplined individuals protect their time so carefully. They understand that success is not built in dramatic moments. It is built through consistent daily sacrifices. Waking up early when you want to sleep in is sacrifice. Staying focused while others waste time is sacrifice. Investing in your growth while others seek comfort is sacrifice. In the beginning, those sacrifices feel painful because you are giving up things that feel easy and enjoyable. But over time, those sacrifices become the very reason your life changes while others remain stuck in the same place year after year. Success also requires sacrificing the need for constant approval from others. Many people stay trapped in average lives because they are too concerned about what others think of them. They fear criticism, judgment, rejection, and failure so deeply that they never fully commit to their goals. But the reality is that every person who pursues greatness will eventually be misunderstood by someone. Some people will doubt your vision because they cannot see what you see. Others will criticize your discipline because your ambition reminds them of the goals they abandoned. There will be moments when your journey feels lonely because not everyone will understand the sacrifices you are making. That loneliness is part of growth. Sometimes success requires separating yourself from environments, habits, and even relationships that no longer align with the future you are trying to build. That does not mean becoming cold or arrogant. It means becoming focused. It means protecting your energy, your time, and your purpose. You cannot spend your entire life trying to please everyone while also trying to become extraordinary. At some point, you must be willing to disappoint people who expect you to remain small. Another sacrifice that success demands is patience. Many people quit too early because they expect immediate results. They work hard for a few weeks, maybe a few months, and when success does not appear quickly, frustration takes over. But meaningful growth often takes far longer than people expect. There are seasons where you will work hard and see little visible progress. There will be moments where you feel exhausted and wonder if your sacrifices are even worth it. During those times, patience becomes one of the most important qualities you can develop. Success is not usually the result of one massive breakthrough. It is the result of repeated effort over long periods of time. The sacrifices you make today may not show immediate rewards, but they are slowly shaping your future behind the scenes. Every disciplined action, every focused hour, every difficult decision, and every moment you refuse to quit is building something powerful inside you. The problem is that most people stop before the results become visible. They abandon the process too soon because they underestimate how long greatness truly takes to build. Success also requires sacrificing the old version of yourself. Growth demands change. You cannot continue thinking, behaving, and living the same way while expecting your future to transform. Sometimes the biggest battle is not against the world, it is against your own habits, fears, mindset, and limitations. You must sacrifice procrastination. You must sacrifice self-doubt. You must sacrifice the habit of making excuses and settling for less than your potential. This process is uncomfortable because growth forces you into unfamiliar territory. It forces you to become disciplined when laziness feels easier. It forces you to remain focused when distractions are everywhere. It forces you to continue believing in yourself even when results are slow. The old version of you will always crave comfort because comfort feels safe. But comfort rarely creates greatness. Every successful person eventually reaches a moment where they must leave behind old mentalities and behaviors in order to grow into someone stronger. Transformation requires letting go of the habits that once kept you comfortable but are now keeping you trapped. The truth is that sacrifice is not punishment, it is investment. Every sacrifice you make for your goals is planting seeds for a better future. The hours you spend improving yourself, the distractions you avoid, the comfort you give up, and the discipline you maintain are all creating opportunities that many people will never experience because they refuse to pay the price. The pain of sacrifice is temporary, but the pain of regret can last a lifetime. One day you will either thank yourself for staying committed or regret wasting years making excuses. That is why successful people continue pushing forward even during difficult seasons. They understand that temporary struggle often leads to permanent growth. They know that the sacrifices made today are creating the freedom, confidence, strength, and opportunities they desire tomorrow. Success has never belonged to the most comfortable people. It belongs to those willing to endure discomfort, remain disciplined, and stay committed long after others give up. One of the greatest mistakes people make in life is believing they have endless time. They live as though opportunities will always be available, as though tomorrow is guaranteed, and as though there will always be another chance to become the person they dream of becoming. Because of that mindset, people delay their goals year after year. They keep telling themselves they will start later. Later they will work on their health. Later they will chase their dreams. Later they will improve their mindset, build discipline, learn new skills, repair their lives, or pursue their purpose. But later becomes one of the most dangerous words in the world because later often turns into never. Days become months, months become years, and eventually people wake up wondering where all the time went. Life moves faster than most people realize. Every morning that passes is one day you can never recover again. Time is the most valuable thing you possess because once it is gone, no amount of money, success, or regret can bring it back. That is why waiting too long can become one of life's greatest regrets. The truth is that most people are not truly waiting for the perfect opportunity. They are waiting to feel comfortable. They are waiting until fear disappears, until doubt fades away, until conditions become easier, and until confidence magically appears. But confidence does not come before action. Confidence is built through action. Courage is developed through movement. Strength is created through struggle. If you keep waiting until you feel fully ready, you may spend your entire life standing still. Every successful person started before they felt prepared. They started while uncertain. They started while afraid. They started while imperfect. The difference is that they understood something powerful. Progress begins the moment you decide to move. Small actions create momentum, and momentum creates growth. You do not need to have every answer before beginning. You simply need the willingness to take the first step. Most people remain trapped not because they lack talent, but because they refuse to begin. They spend so much time thinking, planning, and doubting that they never actually take action. But action is what changes lives, not endless preparation. Another reason people delay their goals is because they underestimate how quickly time passes. When you are young, it feels like there is always plenty of time ahead. People believe they can waste years without consequences. But time moves silently. One day you suddenly realize years have disappeared while you remain stuck in the same habits, the same mindset, and the same excuses. The painful reality is that many people spend more time talking about the life they want than actually building it. They become experts at dreaming but beginners at action. Meanwhile, other people are working quietly every day, improving themselves, learning new skills, building businesses, strengthening their minds, and moving closer to their goals. Opportunities do not wait forever. The world rewards people who take initiative. Every moment you spend hesitating, someone else is already taking action toward the future you keep postponing. That is why urgency matters. Urgency does not mean panic. It means understanding the value of your time and refusing to waste it. When you realize how limited life truly is, you stop delaying the things that matter most. Starting now also means accepting that the beginning will probably be uncomfortable. Most people avoid starting because they fear failure, embarrassment, rejection, or struggle. They want guaranteed success before taking any risk. But growth has always required uncertainty. Every meaningful achievement begins with imperfection. Nobody starts as an expert. Nobody begins their journey completely confident. The early stages of growth are often messy, frustrating, and slow. There will be mistakes. There will be setbacks. There will be moments where progress feels invisible. But every successful person you admire once stood exactly where you are now, uncertain, inexperienced, and afraid. The only difference is that they refused to let fear stop them. They understood that failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of success. Every mistake contains lessons. Every setback builds resilience. Every difficult moment strengthens your character. If you avoid starting because you fear failure, you guarantee one thing: you remain exactly where you are. But when you take action despite fear, you give yourself the opportunity to grow into someone far stronger than you are today. One of the most important truths about life is that no one can live your purpose for you. Other people may support you, inspire you, or guide you, but eventually the responsibility belongs to you. Nobody else can build your future. Nobody else can make your decisions, develop your discipline, or create the life you want. Too many people spend years waiting for someone to save them, motivate them, or change their circumstances. But transformation begins the moment you stop waiting and start taking ownership of your life. Every morning is an opportunity to move closer to your goals or further away from them. Every day you either build momentum or build regret. The small choices you make daily matter more than you realize. One focused hour each day can eventually transform your future. One disciplined habit repeated consistently can completely change your identity over time. Greatness is not built through one giant action. It is built through small actions repeated consistently over long periods. That is why starting now matters so much. The sooner you begin, the sooner your future begins changing. At the end of life, many people will not regret the risks they took. They will regret the opportunities they ignored. They will regret the dreams they postponed, the fears they obeyed, and the potential they never fully explored. Regret often hurts more than failure because failure teaches lessons, but regret leaves questions that can never be answered. What could your life have become if you had started earlier? What opportunities could have appeared if you had believed in yourself sooner? What version of yourself might exist today if you had stopped making excuses years ago? Those questions become painful when too much time has passed. That is why now is always the right time to begin, not when everything becomes easier, not when fear disappears, not when life becomes perfect. The right time is now because your time is limited. Every day matters. Every decision matters. Every action matters. The future you dream about is not created through waiting. It is created through movement. And the moment you decide to stop delaying your potential is the moment your transformation truly begins. So when you wake up tomorrow morning, remember this: you are not too late. You are not too old. You are not too broken. And your dreams are not impossible. But your future will only change when your actions change. No more excuses. No more wasting time. No more waiting for perfect conditions. The pain you feel today can become the strength that builds your future. The discipline you develop today can create the success you dream about tomorrow. The sacrifices you make today can open doors you never imagined possible. Every sunrise is another opportunity to fight for your purpose. Every day is another chance to become stronger, wiser, and more focused than yesterday. Do not let fear decide your future. Do not let comfort destroy your potential. And do not let another year pass while you keep doubting the greatness inside you. Stand up with confidence, walk with discipline, move with purpose, because one day people will look at your life and wonder how you changed so much. And the answer will be simple. You finally got tired of making excuses and decided to become the person you were meant to be.